What's going on? Will Freeman, RevolutionaryLifestyleDesign.com, talking to you today about what you really want from life, and it's love. If you really think about it, love and happiness are the same feeling. Even if it's a sandwich that makes you happy, if it's a girl that makes you happy, if it's the sunshine that makes you happy, if it's looking at trees or playing with cats or making money, all those feelings come within you. Every feeling you've ever had comes from you. And when you're saying, I'm happy about this thing that's coming up, or I'm happy with my girlfriend here, it's because you're feeling love about that particular thing, or you're looking at yourself with love. You know, you finished a big project, you made some more money, you started your own business, you took your business to seven figures, you feel proud of yourself, you feel loving towards yourself. The opposite is, if you failed yourself, you're feeling hatred. If somebody is getting aggressive and challenging with you, you're feeling hatred towards them. Like is just a softer version of love. So you've got love and hate on both sides of the equation. And you're constantly vacillating between those two. But what you ultimately want is love, but you will settle for lesser forms of pleasure, meaning like a lower level sexual pleasure. You'll settle for different types of things that at least get you above neutral. That kind of like life is just that like 40% on the state scale, just what do I do? Cigarette, alcohol, pornography, etc. But if you could choose, you would choose that overflowing like love and happiness and tears of gratitude. Moments that I've been able to experience, riding my motorcycle in Thailand, intimate relations with a woman that I really care about, like major milestones in my business. And ultimately all those the strong feelings come from the heart chakra or the heart center. Okay, and this is not hippie bullshit. This is, I'm constantly experiencing physical sensations within my body. So when I mean feeling love, I mean you're actually feeling it within your physical body. Just like how you feel anxiety in your solar plexus or nausea in your solar plexus, as well as around the upper left and the upper right part of the stomach. You feel sexual energy in the prostate, in the pelvic floor. And this is why a lot of yoga practice is about, raising energy up either into the spine or into the heart center. And supposedly, if you raise energy up into the spine and it shoots out of the top of your head, that is spiritual enlightenment. So if you go to Thailand, you'll see a lot of the Buddhist statues, and they've got this crown or this sort of pillar coming up of the top of the head. Now, most of the people there can't give you the explanation, but that's the explanation, is the lotus flower has blossomed and the kundalini energies come above the head. Unfortunately, I don't have experience with that, but I do have experience with having an abundance of energy in the heart center, and that's between the breastbones. If you read about what Christ was talking about, he talks a lot about the heart, and they're actually talking about a physical location there. And that is where the feeling of love and deep joy and gratitude is expressed. And if you truly think about it, that's a preferable emotion towards, the taste of a cheeseburger or some like kind of low consciousness sex or any of these other things. And you're just using those things as substitutes because it hasn't been like readily available to you to be able to have like overwhelming love and gratitude on tap where tears are coming down your face, and myself included. But I'm reading this Dr. Demartini stuff, I'm going through voids and values, and I'm thinking, what is it that I'm really looking for? And it's that feeling of love. And right now it is the things that are important to me, like quality relationships with women, having money, being in sunshine, being physically fit, and being able to look at myself with a sense of love. Really, all those things that I'm chasing are to get to that feeling of love. And my whole site's about being happier. Happiness is just the feeling of love. So I'm trying to separate the barriers between me and other things. Meaning, all the spiritual teachings say that the entirety of the universe is you, and Christ's teachings are love God and love your neighbor like yourself. Literally, like they are yourself, because they are yourself. The entirety of it is you. I've had brief moments of that type of grace, or brief moments of that type of clarity, only quickly to descend into, being in traffic and just having a horrible inner narrative for someone, doing something stupid, or hearing a car horn and be like, motherfucker, vacillating between those two states. So I'm putting an effort into actually not just the idea of like be loving, but actually the feeling, the physical feeling. That's what we're looking for. Whenever I'm searching my mind, I'm like, why am I not happy? Or what is it? It'll be like a feeling of nausea within my body. It'll be overheating. It'll be, anxiety in the solar plexus. It will be the fact that I'm constantly scanning for these good feelings, but the ultimate feeling I want is that overwhelming abundance of love in the chest plate. So this is why like religions and stuff will tell you to stay away from name, fame, and women. But I think that the messengers of these religions knew what they were talking about, or the originators, but the messengers use shame and guilt, to try and pull you away from that. Like, don't chase money, don't do all these things. It's like, no, still go after the stuff that you want, but recognize what it is that you're doing it for, and ultimately create a structure, a lifestyle, a reality around making it easier for you to feel love, being around people who are supporting you, being around people who make it easier for you to love them, and slowly over time build up your spiritual muscles, your muscle to love, to hopefully where you can get to a point where you can be loving towards people that don't love you. Christ is a great example of that. You can believe he existed or not. I choose to believe he existed. I don't particularly believe in all the miracles. I think that was ascribed to him by certain people, but I think that he was a spiritually enlightened being who sort of escaped the world through recognizing the entirety of it within himself, and that's what they call Christ consciousness, and that's available hopefully to everyone, and it's a good example of like, and then you think, well, how do you do it? Well, you physically search for that feeling of love, use that as the guide, recognize, hey, this is what we're all craving at the end of the day, but we're separated from like that being our true nature. So why don't we use that as sort of like a guide, as a northern star, to try and amplify that in whatever way that we can. And by the way, it's an internally reciprocal mechanism. Like, you can't feel love by fucking people over. It's impossible, so it is the ability to feel the love. And also, people loving you doesn't make you feel love. It makes it easier to feel love, but like if a girl's in love with you and you're not in love with her, it doesn't have value to you. It's you feeling the love. So whenever you're not feeling love, you're suffering. When you're feeling anger, you're suffering. When you're feeling pissed off, you're suffering. Okay? And don't get me wrong, I'm going in and out of these states all day, but I'm at least trying to search for, how do I amplify that feeling of love? And there's a few things that I've realized are really important. Sleep. Okay, and this is why yoga was originally developed not to have like a nice ass like they're selling it today. It was developed for meditation, for spiritual enlightenment. So having a clean, moderate diet, sleep, not ejaculating, that might be the biggest one, because that allows you to store so much more energy in your body, and your vitality goes up. Karetsa style, heart-centered lovemaking, and I say lovemaking because that's actually what it is. And like a lot of this is physical, dude. Like your mental, the best way to change your mental state is changing your physical state. Like if you're not feeling good physically, it's very difficult to be happy. I would say like 85-90% of this deal is physical. And then the more of those factors you have going for you, the healthier your vehicle is, the more vitality, the more energy, the more like vibrating with well-being that you have, the easier it is to just channel that energy up, keep it in the heart center, or have thoughts of gratitude, and be loving. So then it's like the mental game is trying to structure as much of your lifestyle for things that you're inspired by, like doing what you love, being around people that you love, and then instead of looking for things to be ungrateful about, which I'm terrible at, by the way, I'm an inherently negative and ungrateful person, but looking at things to be grateful about and loving about and trying to look at people with an expression of love, which little children are like 10 times better at than we are. But we just take so much trauma over lifetime. We take so many like, moments of people not being supportive, and then you get older and like people aren't super loving to you. Like all adults seem super nice when you were a kid. And then all of a sudden the world seems like a hostile place sometimes. And instead of having love and being in thrival mode, you're in survival mode. So by no means is this easy. I think the spiritual discipline, the spiritual evolution, I would say probably building a successful business is maybe one of the harder things that you can do, but I think this is probably the hardest thing. But it's also, I think, the most rewarding. And I'm by no means an expert on this, but it's been a major revelation for me about what I've been searching for, and how a lot of the time the spiritual teachings, I was pretty advanced philosophically, but they just weren't hitting me in my practical life. I was like, what's missing here? And what's missing is that it's an actual physical feeling within your breastbone, in your heart chakra, and your physical reality determines 85% of it. So controlling the vehicle, keeping the vehicle healthy, maximizing the vitality within the vehicle, and then doing the mental reframes, as well as structuring a lifestyle to where you can feel that love, because love is happiness. My whole site is an antidepressant trying to make you be happier. And all the wealth, the women, all this other stuff that we talk about is just for that. So start there with that goal in mind. Recognize like you're trying to feel love and happiness every day. That's what you really want from life. And have a look at experimenting with some of those tips that I gave you. And if you want help with any of this stuff, check me out, revolutionarylifestyledesign.com/coaching. If you fit the criteria, I'd love to be able to help you. Much love to you.